Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Wreaths and Things. We are on day number 4 of our Wreathmas week. 7 days, 7 wreaths featuring Christmas wreaths. Plus, don't forget there's always that bonus right at the very end, episode number 8. Let's get started with day number 4 of our Wreathmas week, and I'll show you what I made. I'm going to be using the square wired wreath frame from the Dollar Tree, along with this burgundy velvety ribbon. It's 2.5-inch wire ribbon and some of this 2.5-inch wire gold ribbon. And I'm going to be using my regular crafting utensils like my scissors, ruler, and glue gun today. I'm going to first start off. I have 4 different patterns of this 2.5-inch wire ribbon, and I'm going to cut them all at the 8-inch mark. So you see here, I'm just starting off with my first roll. I'm going to 8 inches, and I'm just doing a little cut. So that is all 4 of my different patterns. I'm cutting into 8-inch strips. You can see me cutting them right here and getting them all ready for our square ribbon wreath for today's project. I have all my piles ready and cut, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold them in half, so they're going to be about 4 inches long, create a crease right in the center, and then you'll see the crease right there. And then what I'm going to do right at the end is I'm just going to fold that over again, grab my scissors, and I'm going to create a shallow dovetail instead of a deeper one. So I'm just going to have my scissors on about maybe a 30-degree angle and make that cut for our little ribbons here. Again, I'm just folding each of my ribbons right in half, creating a crease using my fingers, and then I'm just going to fold that in half once again, grab my scissors, and cut on an angle to create all of my dovetails. And that's just going to finish those ribbons off really nicely. And I keep going through that same process with all 4 of my different style ribbons of creating those dovetails and finishing them off nicely. And here is my wired wreath frame. I've already started, so you can kind of see the pattern that I've got going. And I'm going to be using the outside wire and starting right at the corner. You can see there's a little sample of how I finished my corners right there. And I'll just show you how I started at that corner as well. I'm going to grab my ribbon. And this is why I folded them in half. So that's going to be our place mark where we're going to place that ribbon. So the ribbon on the corner is actually going to be on like a 45-degree angle, and the wire is going to be in between the 2 pieces of ribbon. I'm going to add a little hot glue down, and then I'm just going to fold it over, aligning those dovetails, and I'm just going to press that ribbon into the glue to make sure it's nice and secure. So you see that's coming off at an angle, and my pattern is to do burgundy, gold, burgundy, gold. So the gold one is going to be behind these 2 burgundy ribbons. So again, for my corner, I'm coming in with my burgundy ribbon, adding some hot glue. I'm going to fold that over, and then I'm going to press that into the hot glue. And you can kind of see there's a little voided space right there where my fingers are. So that's where our little gold piece of ribbon is going to go. So following my pattern, I'm just going to glue that down right on the corner. I'm going to flip it over, put some hot glue down right where I want it to go, and then I'm going to grab that ribbon, and I'm just going to place that right on top, and I'm going to cover that little voided space there, and it's going to fill that in. And I do this for all of the corners. We flip it right over, and you can see now how my pattern is coming with the gold, burgundy, and now I'm going to continue on to my next one. The crossbar's in the way, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place a little bit of hot glue on the outside wire, and I'm not going to fold the wire inside the ribbon. I'm just going to place the ribbon right on top. The glue will hold it nice and secure, and it's not going to go anywhere. That way we don't have to make any cuts. And then I just continue on using that same pattern and the same method, opening up the ribbon, adding some glue, and then folding it back down again. And whenever I hit that crossbar, again, I'm not going to pull it through the wire or have the wire inside. I'm just going to place the glue right on top and then the ribbon right on top as well. We've come to another corner, so I'm going to do the exact same thing where we have those 2 burgundy pieces, flip it over, and then I'm going to add some hot glue to that gold piece and have that on an angle to fill up that voided space. And here you can see my pattern and all the ribbons coming all the way around that beautiful square wreath frame. Again, another corner, we're going to do the exact same thing. And then I'm almost done with my first round of ribbon, and you can see once this is all glued down how my first row and how this wreath is all coming together with that beautiful burgundy and gold ribbon. And now we're going into the middle wire, and I'm starting off with a corner once again using the same method, having that gold ribbon right on an angle, adding that glue on there, and then I'm going to add my next row, and with the crossbar that's there, I'm going to place that on top. So now that I have the 2 gold ribbons there, I'm going to place the burgundy one on an angle right in the corner to fill that voided space so we have nice coverage and we don't have anything open. And again, my pattern is going to be the gold, burgundy, gold, burgundy. You can kind of see how I laid it all out on the right-hand side there. That's the pattern that I'm kind of following. And I'm just going to continue opening up those ribbons and gluing them down as I go along, following that same pattern. And here we go. I'm just finishing up another corner here. And my row, second row I should say, is all done. Now let's do that final inside row. So I get all my ribbons all nice and organized how I want my pattern to be. And then all I'm going to do is kind of the same 45-degree angle on the corner, but this time I'm not wrapping the ribbon around the wire. I'm actually just going to glue it right in place like we did at the cross wires. So I'm just taking that burgundy ribbon on an angle. I'm going to take my next burgundy ribbon and I'm going to put some hot glue down and place that right onto the wire. I didn't put the wire on the inside because when I did a test run, it didn't really lay too flat. And then when I did this, it ended up being perfect. So I'm just going to follow that same method of gluing that ribbon down on top of the wire and just making sure it's all nice and aligned and that it lays nice and flat. And it just turned out so perfectly. I just love how this wreath turned out, and I hope you did as well. Mind you, we're not done just yet, but you can see I have finished laying all of my ribbon out. I'm going to have it on a diamond shape. You can use the normal square shape if you want, but I think I'm going to use mine on an angle, creating that diamond shape. Look at how beautiful that ribbon is and how this wreath is coming along so well. To create my bows, I am going to use 12-inch tails, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to squish it together, hold it in my left hand, and I'm going to measure out 12 inches again, squish it together, and then I'm going to bring my right hand to my left and place that ribbon right in my left hand. So I have a loop at the top, which is a 6-inch loop, and then a 12-inch tail at the bottom. We're going to twist that ribbon to make sure the good side is facing up. Pinch at the 12-inch mark again. Bring those 2 hands together, bringing that bow and loop together. There's your loop. That's our second one. We're going to fix it up just a little bit. Now this ribbon was very, how do I say it? It was very a thick ribbon. So when I was folding it together, I needed to kind of play around with it a lot. You can kind of see here, it does crinkle up a little bit, especially because it's the velvet with the gold glitter scrolls on it. So just play around with your ribbon. If it's a thick ribbon as well, you'll eventually come to the point where you'll get all of that ribbon facing outward. And of course, we have our 3 loops, which are 6 inches, and our 2 tails at 12 inches. So I'm just going to take my pipe cleaner now, feed it right through the center, and that's going to hold this portion of our bow together. And I'm just going to twist that twist tie nice and tight, cut off the excess, and I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm just going to rearrange my tails a little bit, rearrange the bows, so I make sure everything's facing forward and my good side is facing up, so I can continue making that bow. And then I'm just going to throw that right to the side for now and continue on with my cuts And with my bow making, I'm going to do the exact same method using 10-inch tails and 5-inch loops. So to get the 5-inch loops, you measure out to 10 inches, bringing those loops right back to your fingers, holding them in place. And I'm going to create 3 loops and 10-inch tails, and I'm going to cut off at the 10-inch mark. Again, we're going to use another twist tie to twist it right in the middle, making sure it's nice and secure and it's not going to go anywhere. And we do a little fluffing, and then we're going to bring our first layer, and this is the second layer, comes together, and we're just going to twist tie that right in the center and make sure it's all nice and secured. I'm going to do the same method for all 4 ribbons, just different lengths. And now I'm just fluffing it just to kind of see how it looks. And I'm going to come in now and use 8-inch tails with 4-inch loops. So I'm measuring out 8 inches, and that's going to create our 4-inch loop. Do the same method of attaching it right onto that big bow, wrapping it right in the center, making sure it's nice and secured. And this time I'm using 2 loops. And for our final one, I'm doing 5-inch tails, and I'm coming in and doing 4-inch loops. And I'm going to do 2 loops, 2 tails for this one as well. So I'm measuring out the 8 inches, bringing my fingers back together, creating 2 loops, and then adding our twist tie down and adding it to our big, beautiful bundled bow. I loved these 4 ribbon combinations, different patterns together. And to finally kind of put that little finishing touch on it, I have a piece of scrap fabric, which is the last fabric that I use. And I'm going to create a little tube using that, or a cannoli, if you will. And then I'm going to feed a pipe cleaner through that and add that right in the center, making sure I have my tails all sorted out. And then I'm going to wrap that all the way around, but I'm not going to cut that because that is how we're going to attach it to our wreath. Then just to finalize our little bows here, I'm going to dovetail each of my tails. And then, of course, my favorite thing, and you all know I love this so much, it's fluffing time. So I'm just going to fluff up that bow, and now it's all ready for attaching to our wreath. Like I said, I'm using this wreath as a diamond shape, so I'm going to use one of the corners to attach my bow to. So I just flip it over, find space where I want the bow to go through, grab those stems of our pipe cleaners, feed it through those wires, and then just twist tie it together, cut off the excess. And I like putting some hot glue down. You don't have to do this. This is not mandatory. It's totally optional. But I like doing that just to make sure it's nice and secure. Once it's down, of course, I flattened a little bit. So you know me, I got to come back in and start fluffing that bow once again. And look how gorgeous this wreath turned out. It's so regal. It's royal looking with that burgundy and that gold ribbon. And with our huge 4-ribbon bow right at the top there. There is glitter everywhere, and I am loving it. And I hope you are enjoying it as well. Our gorgeous burgundy and gold royal Christmas wreath is all ready for my front door. And this wreath is perfect if you have a screen door or a storm door. It's nice and thin. Day number 4 of Wreathmas week has concluded, but don't forget to check the playlist right down below for all the other episodes. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new project. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.